Hello, welcome to GeekyHiJynx, home of the Mischief Makers, and today we're looking at Stay Out the Attic. So guys, straight out the gate, this film fills me with fear because it's another Shudder original, and Shudder's not been good to me at all this year. The films have either been like terrible, worse than terrible, or just downright mediocre. I've not been impressed at all with any of them, the worst being Shook, now overtaken by Dreamcatcher, but Shudder as a whole this year has not been good. That's not to say there's not any good movies on Shudder. I've seen one called Host. Really good horror film. Really good. Suggest you watch it. I'm going to do a random review for that one very soon, because in the beginning of my channel I watched that and I thought to myself I could do a really crazy one, and I had it all made up, but then Psycho Gorman came out, then Willy's Wonderland and all the other films came out. I was like, I've got no time to do this, so I'm going to wait for a little lull period and then do the Host review. So, Stay Out the Attic is directed by Jaron Lauder and stars Ryan Francis, Morgan Alexandra, Bryce Fernelius. Fernelius, what an amazing last name. Can you imagine? Hi, I'm Mr. Fernelius. So the film is about these three ex-cons. They work for a removal service that helps people move home. And the company's called Second Chances, funny enough, because they want a second chance at life to do better this time around. And they go in there and they come across a guy called Vern, who just says to them, look, remove everything from the first floor, the second floor, but don't go in the basement and stay out of the attic. And unfortunately, as the night goes on, they learn a few things about the house, about Vern, and all the dark secrets that come with it. And the film takes a dark and twisted turn from there. Now, this film was a weird one because when the credits rolled, I didn't know what to think of it. Like most films, I'm like, oh my god, that was awful. That was an amazing film. It was alright, there were stupid moments. This one, I liked it. This was the best Shudder film I've seen this year. That's not saying much though. This one was just more up my street. I was a lot more well put together than the previous Shudder films. A bit more cohesive, more of a story, a bit bare bones mind you, but I enjoyed it for what it was. But at the same time, it was like a half-baked potato. You know, like you can eat it, but there's something not right about it. I couldn't put my finger on it. So I'm going to try with this review to place what was wrong with it, and maybe you guys can give me your opinions in the comments below as always. So I'm just going to jump in with what I like straight away. Like I mentioned, this film doesn't give much to really talk about because I'm getting ahead of myself. That's the issues. But what did I like initially about this film? The acting and the characters. Like, this is a good horror film character-wise. The characters are really engaging. Shill, Imani, and Carlos. The fact I can remember their names means it was good. Memorable characters, not like memorable as in like Ash from the Evil Dead or Laurie Strode, nothing like that, but watching the film you can remember their names. They got all individual personalities and they're likable, you know. They're ex-cons as mentioned, and they're trying to turn their life around. Like, the company's called Second Chances, they want a second chance. And there's a scene in the film where they're all sitting down and they're talking about their past, and there's a few home truths and raw moments where they're getting to know each other, and that was good. You know, gave them a bit more depth, made them more real, to be honest. Like, even in the first scene, don't get me wrong, I thought Carlos was going to be a terrible actor, because in that first scene with him in the van as they pull up to the house, his acting wasn't good there, not gonna lie. But then after that, likable guy, and the smartest character in the film, really, when you watch it. But all of them very likable, and even Vern plays the really weird German guy that aren't they all in horror movies, that wants to move out this house ASAP. He was pretty good, very creepy. Probably not as strong as the three main characters, but he kind of reminded me of a watered down version of that crazy scientist from Human Centipede. And that's not to give anything away, but he just gave across those like really weird vibes, but nowhere near as extreme as Human Centipede. And the film looked really good. It was one of the better looking Shudder movies. Like, it almost looked pretty professional, like cinema worthy. It was pretty good. The cinematography, the angles they were using, the cuts, the editing, really good. I was really impressed with it. Like, and it almost put doubt in my mind because whoever made the opening credits, now I'm not too in with like who is in charge of the credits at the end and beginning, I know the director hasn't got anything to do with it, I think. Not too sure. But the beginning credits of the film, and again, another horror film with opening credits. You had The Stylist the other day, and now this one. I was like, when are these opening credits? Like literally proper, not like opening credits where you see someone jogging and the writing's appearing as they're jogging around. Proper like opening credits. And they're terrible. Awful. Like I thought to myself, oh my god. It reminds me of like an early 2001, early 2000, 2002, like rock video that's meant to be like from a Reggie? From an edgy, Reggie, what the hell am I talking about? From like an edgy metal band, they're trying to do like a really like, yeah, it just seems like that. You'll know exactly what I mean when you see the film. That title sequence was terrible and really I was just like, oh no, Shudder, no, not another one, please. And when the film starts, it looks really good. So I was thinking, whoever done the credits at the beginning, get rid of that guy. And the gore effects are really good. OTT, good. But like, there are some scenes where I won't lie to you, there's only one time where I was like, ugh. But most of the time I could watch it. But it's very over the top, Saw-esque, but not like Saw. Yeah, nothing like Gerald's Game or anything that's like the visual with the nail, but a bit more like cartoonish. So it's not like you were looking away every time, but yeah, it's good gore effects. And I love the last 5 to 10 seconds of the movie, and that's also an issue because I'm going to touch on that in a second. But yeah, the last 30 seconds to a minute of the film, and that's not like a Saint Maud or like the last 5 seconds of Saint Maud or a big spoiler. It's just the way the film ends was cool, and that's also a problem for me. So let's get straight into the issues and I can talk about it. Well, my first issue with the film is it wasn't scary one little bit. I wasn't scared, I didn't feel any suspense, I wasn't biting my nails. It wasn't scary, it didn't make me jump. There was a few jump scares in there and tried to get me, and one startled me, but yeah, generally not scary. The film also feels half baked, like I mentioned earlier. I can't put my finger on it about this film, but when I finished watching it, I was neither satisfied nor disappointed. I enjoyed what I watched, but at the same time, didn't get what I wanted. It was a weird mixture of emotions. Like, you can normally tell when I watched like Dreamcatcher, as bad as that was, I was like, it's a terrible movie, and then when it's a really good one, I'm like, oh, go watch it. But this one, I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you guys. It really, really throws me off of like how to even review this one, because it's a bit of a bland movie, but it's also good. I suggest you watch it, but only if you've got nothing else to do. It has some good moments, but then it doesn't really go for it. And this is what I'm talking about, like half-baked. I'm gonna read you the last part of the synopsis. I've told you about 3 ex-cons, go to this client's house, moving everything, don't go in the attic. But the last part of the synopsis, which was on Letterboxd, that's what made me want to watch this film. I'm gonna read it to you. Okay. As the night progresses and rooms are cleared, they slowly uncover the horrors that exist inside, which include booby traps, human experimentation, Nazi monsters, and more. Now, when I read that, I literally cracked up. I was like, oh my god, that sounds insane. Balls to the walls, crazy. If they, like, you can imagine, just me reading that to you and me reading that, I was imagining some mental film. And so when it started, yeah, I was enjoying what I was getting, but it never went there. It didn't go to like 100%. Yeah, it had Nazi monsters, but not really. And yeah, experimentation, but a little bit. And it was a bit of everything and a bit confusing as to what kind of movie it wanted to be at times. I don't think that's the director's fault. I just think that the time frame, 88 minutes, I finished it done maybe in like an hour 45 minutes, fleshed it out a bit more. Here, the direction was good, directing was good, but yeah, it just felt a bit like a kind of movie, not a full movie. And the last issue I have, almost forgot to mention it, but it's about the last minute, 2 minutes of the film. Literally, no, the last minute, 30 seconds of the movie. I wish that was the movie. When that part came on, I had a smile on my face, like a little smirk. And I was thinking, oh, this is going to be cool. And then the film finished. And I was like, no movie, come back. I I was enjoying that movie. What are you doing? I wish that was the movie. And it's kind of like the synopsis I read to you from Letterboxd. I wish we had more of that. And the last 30 seconds to a minute, they were going that way. And then it cut. And I was just like, ah. Oh. And that's really all I gotta say about the movie, guys. I really like the characters. The film looked great. Really well directed. The story was just dumb fun and had really good gore effects. But it just was a half-baked idea that was carried out. And I didn't even touch on one of the characters that they find in the attic. Why? Useless. Well, cut that character out of the film. Didn't need to be there. Made no difference. Just and annoyed me. An annoying character. Didn't mention it in my what issues I had, but I'm mentioning it now. But again, the film is just like, it's alright. It's a good Shudder movie. Only worth watching if you literally ran out of films to watch and you think, you know what, I've got nothing else on today, I'm going to give this a go. It's alright, but it's not great. So based on all of that, guys, I'm going to give Stay Out of the Attic a bronze and a one-time spin because it's okay, but I'm not going to come back to it. It's just, there are some films I really like, but maybe just watch it once because I can appreciate a good story. This one, I appreciate the fact it was just a brain dead popcorn horror that you could probably watch if you've got nothing else to do. But yeah, I'm never going to return to it. I just wish they capitalized more on those last 10 seconds, but for the entire movie. So guys, that was my review of Stay Out of the Attic. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it a snooze fest or the greatest film you've ever seen? Comment to the comments to let me know because I genuinely am interested. And if you liked this video, drop me those likes because it always does help. But until next time, stay out of trouble.